What's going on, everybody? What's going on? This is Mike coming to you live in effect. As you guys may know, Mike Jones, Phil Jones, however you guys know me personally, professionally, and I'm one half of the Extraordinary Man podcast. So let me rap with y'all for a brief moment, if y'all don't mind. We live in a strange world. It's 2024, soon to be 2025. Donald Trump just got reelected. The world is just ablaze. One thing about 2024 is that, and excuse my candor when I say this, I've seen the absolute stupidest stuff on social media. And I try to take the path of understanding people's positions, where they're coming from, what's driving them to feel the way that they feel, what's driving certain movements and social media and social awareness. But after a while, you just got to call things for what they really are. We give idiots microphones and we allow them to have voices. And sometimes, because of the strength of their voice, we assume that there's some quality that's coming out of it. And with all due reality, that's not the case. One of the things that's very troubling is that there's a lot of very impressionable people out in the world who they're looking for understanding. They're looking for philosophies. They're looking for something to cling on to help them feel better about themselves, to help them find the answers that they're looking for. So I'm going to take you guys on a little timeline real quick, and y'all try me out. So there's one point in time with the millennial, my particular age group, to where we became fascinated with the Be Your Own Boss movement. What came along with the Be Your Own Boss movement was a bunch of DIY. So people found a way to try to sell and push the ideas of DIY, build it yourself, do it yourself. And they capitalized off of subscriptions, capitalized off of selling us a whole bunch of programs, a bunch of seminars, and a bunch of things that really have screwed a lot of our lives up, because we've gotten so deep into the gotta be our own boss pool that we're afraid to turn around and start from scratch and go back to practicality. You see, with that particular element, a formula was derived to say, hey, we're going to go from be your own boss, and now we're going to start delving into a couple other layers. Number one, drop shipment. Number two, YouTube automation. Number three, credit repair, financial literacy courses, you name it. There's been all the different hoopla under the sun. How to build your business credit, how to scam your way back into credit repair, aside from just paying your bills like you should. It's been all these different motivations that have been sold to try to empower people to do things that are idiotic. Now, what does that have to do with 2024? What happens is that with the emergence of these people, you've seen where the formula has been replicated and where it's spilled over into other sectors. One of the big sectors that it's spilled over into is the dating world. And in the dating world, you find a bunch of, I can't begin to say how idiotic the conversations are. Let me tell you something. There's one way that things work. This works for me, and this works for you, and we come together and we make that thing work. To tell guys, go get swole, go make a bunch of money, get a Ferrari, that does not make you less lame. That just means that you're less lame. You're still a lame with a better body and more stuff. But that means that you are built into a world to where you want to attract women based off of superficiality. There's an old school term that was put out there when it came down to women, that as long as you have a little something in between your legs, you should never be broke. That was one of the worst things that you could ever tell somebody, because how do you want to be respected for what you have up here, but you spending your life trying to motivate and trying to maneuver situations based on what you got going on down here? You see, there's all these excuses being put out here trying to blame each other for the reason why things are so messed up. And I'm going to tell y'all a simple answer for why dating is messed up. Because a bunch of people found that there was a bunch of money in keeping you and you divided. So they keep promoting and promulgating stupid philosophies to make sure that you and you don't get along. So now you make sure we have an abundance of needing 2 houses, 2 apartments, 2 cars, 2 of this, 2 of that. Independent woman, go get yours. Go girl. You go, girl. Empower, empower, empower. You don't need a man for nothing. So that you can go out and buy more crap. So you can go out and spend more money on stuff that you don't need. And none of these women's empowerment groups, none of these entertainers, none of them care about what your reality is going to be when you're 60. Not a one. Not a single person is concerned about what your life is going to be like when you're 60, when you're 70, when you've aged out of the workforce, when you have to look back and reflect on all this stuff, all these girls trips, all the things that you had, and then the uh-oh moment kicks in. You see, we're people, and being people, we are a companionship group of people. Nobody cares as long as they can capitalize off of your inability to think with common sense. We are community people. We're built to be with each other. Why that's so hard to wrap our minds around, I'll never understand it. Guess what? I'm no different. I have ambitions of being a wealthy individual, but you know what? I'm not willing to sacrifice everything else to get it. I think that there's certain layers that you have to take into consideration, that if you're trying to be in a certain place, then you need to devote your time to getting with people who are in the mindset of getting to that place and they don't mind working together to get there. I can't have somebody that's okay with mediocrity and having just enough, and I have billion-dollar ambitions, and thinking for a second that I can try to make you be this way or she can make you be this way or vice versa. It does not work. But we start building these families. We start building these bills and building these debt traps and building these friendships and building these things that are counterproductive to what our heart's desires want. And again, going back to that original analogy about you go into the DIY, you go into the business, you done spending so much money, you delve so much into, you put so much into it that you refuse to accept the fact that it's a sinking ship. At some point in time, common sense has to set in. But let legend have it, women are just going to start leaving their husbands. There's no need for them. There's no real value for a man at all. Men, there's no real value for women. Do it all by yourself. It all sounds good. It sounds good. And there's some legitimacy to doing what you need to do for you. But if you're not doing what you need to do for you in aspect of what's going to be in the best interest of the people that you want to attract, it's pointless. It's a waste. Now again, who am I? I'm not some dating guru. I don't have the world's best track record of anything. I'm a real person who's giving real advice from a real life, not based off some level of superficiality. Guess what? There's certain people who they do have legitimate advice or legitimate stance for what you want. I had one person tell me that if you want to have a certain type of body or you want to have a certain type of fitness regimen, you should really evaluate who you get your advice from, because some people either A, are not qualified. Just because the guy's big and swollen pictures don't mean he can show you how to lose 200 pounds. He may just be a genetic specimen that is just naturally able to build muscle like that, or he may be a steroid junkie. You don't know who you taking advice from. But as long as it sounds good, you just jump into whatever. And then if that don't work, you jump over here. It's the same thing I tell people about church. Oh, well, maybe the institution is bad. Like, no, maybe the institution ain't bad. Maybe it's just you got the wrong church. So we're going to keep on doing the same stupid thing over and over again, rather than saying, you know what? If I went to 20 or 30 or 40 of these things and all of them seem to have a very similar outcome, maybe the institution is bad and we need to speak up against the institution. But I digress. What do I know? I'm just some guy talking on the camera. My point is this. At some point in time, somebody has to be the ambassador of common sense. And 2024 has done nothing more than show me that people are desperate for real answers. Forget the stuff that people are saying online as far as dating gurus, as far as relationship experts, as far as this high value this and the high value. Forget all of that. The reason why these things have any legs at all is because real people who live real lives are looking for real solutions. The reason why the DIY market is so heavy, the reason why the entrepreneur concept is so big, the reason why the real estate conversations are so big, the reason why all of these sexy conversations are so big is because real people are looking for real answers. A college degree ain't what a college degree used to be 20, 30 years ago. Let's face it. People got college degrees like toilet paper. Everybody got one. You go up in here and you say, man, I got my MBA. Okay, well, the other 20 people that came in here all got MBAs. Oh, well, I have this certification, that certification. I went to MIT. Well, the last 15 people went to Ivy League schools. What's your point? It's like it's so unnecessary now, more so than it's ever been. I think the pandemic showed a lot of us that there's really a misconception when it comes down to how we think. And I think that the overconsumption of content plagued a lot of us because it got us to a place to where we started to look at the world as if the answer is just one click away, and that is not a series of changes that need to be made by you, by me, by each other over an elongated period of time. There's always these, we want quick answers. We want it to be done now. We want the bleeding to stop. We don't want to accept the fact that the bleeding is part of the process. We look at things and we say to ourselves, okay, well, how do I get the result that I want? Well, let me go to YouTube. Let me go to this app. Let me go over here. Let me go figure this out. Oh, well, I'm going to do this gig work over here and this, that, and third. I'm going to go drive Uber or Lyft and to go do some Uber and Eats and stuff like that, which is cool. But does it solve your problem? Many of us are looking for solutions to real problems. And the solutions to those real problems require real solutions, not Band-Aids. The solution to your love life may be that you need to get counseling because of the trauma that you experienced when you were young. Maybe those anger issues and those lash outs aren't because everybody around you is stupid. Maybe it's because of the fact that you have been told that you were stupid so long that that's your technology. That's how you operate, is that you think everything negatively. Maybe you have a negative mind. Maybe it's not everybody else. Maybe it's you. Maybe you need to do the work. Maybe I need to do the work. That's why I see a lot of this is that it's always pointing outward about what's going on. It's the patriarchy, it's misogyny, it's this, it's that, it's this reason, it's every reason other than the fact that real people are looking for real solutions and they don't know where to go. It's just a bunch of talking heads. It's news pundits, it's talk show hosts, it's podcasts, it's alleged experts of said circumstances. Is this medical professional? You go and you watch TV, and is this miracle drug that's going to cause 7 more problems but never fix the problem that it was intended to solve? Everybody's looking for an answer. And a lot of the times the answer is slow, it's painful, it's a walk. It requires you to be cooperative with people. It requires you to put elements of yourself down in order to work on the best benefit of the group. And that's a hard pill for people to swallow in a world that keeps telling you that your value is based in your individuality. No, your value is based on what you contribute to the group. It is not just money. It's not just money. If your worldview is money, then let me tell you a secret. You have no idea what a real problem is until you can't throw money at it to fix it. And that's the truth. I'm going to say it again for the ones in the back that didn't hear me. You don't know what a real problem is until you can't throw money at it to fix it. But because you've never gotten to that place to where you've experienced a problem that money can't solve, your world is surface level. That's the problem with a lot of us. We're very surface level. Because why? I'll bring it back. We're looking for real solutions to real problems, and we're looking under every rock, every stone, underneath every sheet of paper to try to find a way to stop the bleeding. Agree, disagree, however you feel. I'm just going to call it the way I call it and say it the way I say it, because somebody got to be the adult in the room to tell everybody to shut the fuck up. Listen. We all saying the same thing. Everybody wants love, everybody wants appreciation, everybody wants to be financially stable, everybody wants to be able to care for their families, everybody wants to be able to live a life where there's meaning involved, everybody wants to have some level of abundance to where you have a little bit more than enough so that you can actually enjoy the time that everybody's crying for the same thing, but we all arguing about what direction we're going to go to get there. And that's the part. We all are saying that we want the same things. We want to be loved. We want to be loved genuinely. We want to be loved unconditionally. We want to be able to provide. We want to be able to sustain. We want to be able to live. We want to be able to actually have a life and not merely exist. Everybody is saying the same thing. We just all got different roads to how we think that we're going to get there. But somebody got to be the one to say, everybody, making all this noise all over the internet, all over the place, shut the fuck up and listen to the adult in the room that's telling y'all that everybody is right. We do need real solutions for real problems. But this ain't gonna cut it. We gotta come to the room, we gotta sit down and have some real conversations that result in actual results, actionable game plans, and moving forward in those efforts. Stop trying to save the world and worry about your own kids. Worry about your own relationship. Worry about your own household. Repair that relationship with your mom. Repair that relationship with your dad. Stop feuding with your baby dad and your baby mom and see if we can reconcile and bring that family back together. Stop building so many children out of wedlock. Stop having all these multiple situations all over the place. Stop looking for men for financial gain as if that's all that he's worth. And if it don't apply, let it fly. I'm not talking to all of y'all. I'm talking to who it applied to. Not all. I shouldn't have to say not all. But for those who gotta hear it, not all. But for those that it applies to, when you feel that little thing in your chest, when you hear somebody, that's your spirit telling you that it's you that I'm talking to. But somebody gotta be the adult in the room and say what needs to be said. We don't have to have all these conversations about why relationships don't work. You need to deal with your trauma before you come to the table trying to incorporate a life with somebody else. Deal with your issues and then build collectively and have a plan to pour into that person as that person should have a plan to pour into you. That way we're working for each other's benefit and not for our own self-interest. My self-interest should be what's in the best benefit for the people I'm trying to incorporate. We can never fail if we're focused on what's best for each other, because what's going to build you is going to build for me. Anyway, that's my time, man. Phil Jones, Mike Jones. Make sure that you guys check out, like, subscribe, get in tune with the podcast. We're going to be revving up content very soon. Make sure you check out my brother King Midas. It's going to be a hell of a 2025. Anyway, that's my time, guys. Peace.